welcome to the A.D.K Rock and Metal channel. I, of course, am Dave. There's no Andy or Kirk with me today, but I am joined by the wonderful Melody from the wonderful band LILIAC. Welcome to the channel.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's wonderful to have you. We were just obviously chatting a little bit off camera about. I'm wondering what the fans are going to say about us doing an interview with yourself, because we've covered so many videos of yours on the channel. We did Rise Up, we did Madness, we've done Carousel, we've done some of your covers on the channel. So I think we've done 8 or 9 LILIAC videos over the last sort of 2 years. So we have reviewed you in a bit of detail, and we have got Breathe coming up, which we've talked about, but. Definitely, as I've said off camera beforehand, one of my favourite songs from yourself. So really looking forward to it. And I've got a few questions about Breathe in this interview. So I'm kind of glad that I had a chance to actually watch it before going on camera. But I want to go back. So I don't want to talk about doing the Santa Monica, I think it was Santa Monica Broadwalk part, but I want to go before that. So I'm going to actually I'm going to go even before the Santa Monica bit. So I'm always intrigued. As it's a family band, people are kind of your dad Florian, he's sitting there, they're popping kids out, and they're like, right, we'll strap a drum kit onto Abigail, and here's Sam, we'll whack a guitar on him. And how comes it was you for vocals? So what? Because obviously you started out, you were doing bass as well, so you're on bass. How was it? What naturally happened with yourself to take that lead vocal position? Was this something that you naturally fell into, or Sam going, hang on, I want to be the lead vocalist, you can just play bass in the back? How did that come about?
Yeah, I would say it probably came more naturally because like back then, before the band started, my dad was working on music, you know, because he's always been, he always grew up around music. And so he wanted us to get into the music. So first he started working with Sam, as becoming like a solo artist and stuff like that.
Okay.
Me, I was just singing like on the side because I like to sing. And then my mom's like, you gotta listen to Melody sing. You gotta listen to her. So then he finally gave like me the chance to sing, and my dad really liked like the vocals that I had, even though at the time I was a little girl. But yeah, and he was like, okay, maybe I can do like a little group, like a groupie with Melody, Sam, and Abby. So like me and Sam would like sing and harmonize, and Abby would be like the choreographer and dance, So we were called Energy 3C when we first started.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was more like towards like that poppy sound. Like we would do a lot of like Michael Jackson covers too.
I was going to say, was he thinking Jackson 5 at this point?
Yeah, kind of
going down that route. Okay.
The instruments weren't on our hands just yet, So we did like a lot of Michael Jackson covers. We would do some Adele songs as well, just like popular songs that at the time that were, during that time. And we would even busk on the pier / the 3rd Street Promenade at Santa Monica doing karaoke tracks and stuff like that. But then later as we grew up and, my dad was like, I want to put like instruments in their hands. Like maybe we can like start a band,
Okay.
So he's like, well, Sam, like you could take the lead, guitar. Abby will take the drums because she dances, and then I'll be like the bass player / lead vocalist. And it was kind of like me, Abby, Sam still at first, but then like Ethan and Justin joined in later. And my dad was asking Ethan and Justin, oh, so what do you guys want to play? Do you want to play the guitar or the piano? He asked Justin, and Justin said, I don't know, it doesn't matter. And then Ethan plays guitar, so he's like, okay, I guess I'll go with the keyboards. So yeah. It kind of did came naturally because like I've always was singing when I was little, and then I did, like my dad got us into the music, and then 2015 was when we actually first really started the band, and I was 13 years old, and the first video that we've ever put out on YouTube was Wild Thing.
Oh.
Wild Thing. And it just went on from there, and then I discovered Ronnie James Dio when I was 15. And he was my inspiration growing up as a vocalist. I would listen to a lot of his music and intake and hone a lot of his his masterpiece and his performance and the way he sang. I just wanted to, I was admired by him, so I did want it to be like him at the time. So
That does answer one of my questions, because I actually had one of my coming up about 2 questions time was vocally you've had those comparisons to Dio. And initially when I first heard, and obviously it was things like Holy Diver, and you listen to it and you go, wow, she really has that sound, that performance. And then we heard a something else, and it wasn't a Dio song, but you had a very Dio-esque voice, and I was sitting there going, and I think it might have been something like maybe on Rise Up or something like that, or one of those. And I was going, this sounds like she's putting this voice on. This can't be a natural voice. And then when I heard Breathe recently, I went, well, no, this does sound very different. So she's obviously taking the Dio and leaning into some form, and really utilizing it and almost trying to empower yourself with the spirit of Dio. And you've answered my question brilliantly there.
Yeah. So, which technically, like, you know, as we started, like, getting more, like, not really into it, because we were established more, and we did our first tour in 2019, and, you know, I was just like, I kind of just want to be a front person, and I'll teach Ethan how to play the bass, you know. I mean, my dad also suggested it, too. And another, like, musician of ours was saying, like, you should, like, try it out, you know. I'm like, yeah, it's not a bad idea. You know, maybe I could, like, so I could finally put on that full persona of Dio, like, on stage. And that's what I was thinking at the time. So I'm like, Ethan, I'm going to teach you bass. And, like, I taught him, and then he takes it on, and he's, like, really good. I believe a better bass player than I ever was. But, yeah, so Geddy, like, kind of like that Geddy Lee moment to just Ronnie James Dio. You know.
And do you ever get that point where you're in the writing stages and you're in the studio and Ethan's putting some bass line down and you kind of lean over and go, could you just play it a little bit differently, because this is how I would play it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say at first it was kind of like that, but now he's starting to get it. And whenever he has like because we kind of, like, when we write the bass lines, like, sometimes he comes up with it and we use it, but sometimes it's like, oh, maybe we need to change this part. You know, I would give a suggestion, or Sam would, or my dad, and we'll, like, just, like, finalize it like that. But, yeah, Ethan, there's, like, a lot of, like, there's, like, this new song we're writing. It's a brand new song. It's not even out. It's not done yet. But, man, there's this bass riff that Ethan came up with. It is crazy. I'm like, man, I love that. It's like, it's so good. But, yeah.
I've got to ask, because obviously being in a band myself, I know what it's like to go out and play tours and be in hotel rooms, and what after a couple of weeks on tour with a bunch of your bandmates, you want to throttle them. So how is it being in a family band where you can't even escape at the end of rehearsal because you're room with them the time?
I know, right? Like, I see them every single day. Not one day I can ever go away from them.
There is no escape whatsoever.
They live rent free in my dreams. I'm like, come on now. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I would say, like, I mean, like, I can't really, like, hate my brothers or my sister, you know. It's like, I love them, you know. But maybe, like, times we would get annoyed at each other. Mostly Justin. He kind of has, like, that attitude, you know. But yeah, that makes him Justin, you know. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's also good because, like, you know, since we're here all the time, we can always just hop on and work on the music, and it's kind of like a lot of, like, free range of time instead of, like, oh, we need to schedule this because I have this, and, you know, like. But yeah, so this is one good thing is, like, just being here and just like, hey, let's just go rehearse, and we just go downstairs, just like 20 feet away, like, from upstairs. So yeah, it's, like, easy to get to the rehearsal studio.
Because it's also the challenge you've then also got is obviously Florin being your father, but also your manager in that sense. So in a lot of cases, the father figure is there as a support and to say, yeah, it's okay, everything's fine. Your manager's there to keep things on track. So does this result in you sometimes having some difficult conversations as a band with your manager father about direction and conversations around that?
All the time.
Okay.
All the time. Yeah, all the time. But yeah, the support is definitely there, and like my dad is really good at his craft, and he, like, records and produces our music. I mean, like, even, like, throughout the years, like, I can hear development in his producing, you know, as well. But, like, lots of times, like, especially during writing, like, nowadays, like us is like we know what we want to write.
Right.
And like sometimes, like yeah, there's sometimes like head-to-head moments where I'm like, no, Dad, no, that will not work, and I'm not gonna change it. You know, whether it's like even like one lyric or a word, I'm like, nope, I'm not changing it. Not me being stubborn. It's just it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
You know? But we still at the end of the day make it work. Yeah.
Because I was really surprised watching Breathe, because I haven't seen all your videos. I've seen quite a lot, but I was actually more surprised by the amount of videos recently, because people were saying, "Well, if you haven't seen this video, you should need to go and watch this video by the band, because you're making a comment about whatever I was saying about the video, and then they were saying you should check this one out." But when I watched Breathe, one of the things that stood out for me was obviously the violin and the flute playing, because I didn't know that you were playing those instruments. So how many instruments do you play, and do you then sit there and think, I'm going to learn a new instrument because I want to add it into a new song in the future?
Yeah, well, my number one instrument is my voice. I play bass, flute. I play flute, and kind of ukulele. It's more like I don't really like play. Like I know the chords and stuff, but it's just more like if like I want to sing a little song, like I'll be doing. But flute, yeah, it was interesting because like I was just like I just want to learn a completely different instrument, and then I was watching like videos of like flute. I'm like, that's such a cool instrument, because I also looked at like Jethro Tull, Ian Anderson. I was like that would be awesome if I could do that, And I mean, for me, flute, there's still a lot for me to learn. Like I personally like to do beatbox flute. I'm not the best at it, but like I've seen a lot of videos of it, and I'm like, I like that stuff. So yeah, I started learning flute like about 2 years ago. And I kind of self-taught. I did have a friend who she taught me like all like the notes and stuff, but after that I would just like listen to songs and just like play by ear, or just like create my own practices and stuff like that. And yeah, so I picked up the flute because I thought it would be cool.
Because I really picked up listening to that. I wouldn't say the biggest Nightwish fan, but I would like to say I am a good Nightwish fan. And the era of Nightwish that I really loved was the Annette Olson period of like Dark Passion play. And when I was listening to Breathe, there was elements of that going, do you know what? I'm hearing like Nightwish. You're getting some of these symphonic elements when Troy then came in and he had the hurdy-gurdy. And I'm like, yeah, there's definitely a new layer to the sound of Leah. Now, I don't know if this layer existed on other stuff, and I've just not heard it on other albums, but it was really nice to hear that on the new song on Breathe.
Yeah. And there's also like modern elements as well, like some dubsteps into like the wah 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 wah.
I did hear some other samples and some other layers in there, which was it is why it's my favorite song of yours so far that I've ever.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, but I would give like this song, I would give a lot of the credit to Samuel, because he was the one who composed most of the song. Oh, okay. And and so I would give him a lot of credit. Like, he did a really good job on this song.
Because I'm going to go on to social media, which can be a blessing, but can also be an absolute curse. Because
I know exactly what you mean, though. I know
you put yourself out there, don't you? So I do it in a band. We do it with our review videos. We do it with everything we do on social. You put commentary out there. You put your videos out there, and you can really split people down the middle. And I know from doing the reviews, it's really interesting, the commentary, where we get real positive and negatives, or two sides of the coin about what people say about the band. We have a lot of people, for some reason, Liliac and the Warning fans really don't like each other. I have no idea what that's about.
Yeah.
That's like, just such a such an interesting one there.
It probably because like we share a lot of
similarities.
Yeah, similarities. Because like we kind of both came out around the same time, doing the same covers, and we're both family and stuff like that. And then people just kind of choose their side and stuff like that. But we actually met up with them recently at Rocklahoma. My brother Sam got to talk to them more, but they're really nice. Yeah. It sucked that they didn't get to perform because it rained during their set, so they didn't get the chance. I wanted to see them, but yeah, they were really nice and really chill people, and one day it'll be nice to see their show. But yeah,
because it's an interesting one thinking about that, because I am going to come back to the social media and coping with the social, but as we got into like the warning, because it was Liliac was introduced to me at the same time as the warning, and another band called Motion Device.
Oh yeah, I know about Motion Device. Are they still around? Because I'm not too sure.
They have changed, so they're now a 3-piece called Quarter After 3.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they've changed, but again, it was a family-orientated band. It was another family-orientated band.
Yeah. And
not
they
full,
also
not full
a lot of
family.
Dio songs as well.
They started doing covers. So what you've seen is 3 bands all kind of started off in the same sort of area doing covers. Now, obviously, the Warning have sort of recently skyrocketed off, playing the big arena shows, etc.
Yeah.
And the new album, Keep Me Fed's doing really, really well. Personally, not my favourite album of them. I think they've gone way too commercial, and I've said it. The Warning fans hate me for this, but it's just they've lost some of their integrity personally. But when you look at the success they've had, do you ever look at it and think about the journey that they've done, the journey that you've done, and look back and go, if we'd done some things differently, we might have done the same thing that they've done and gone up to like playing like with Hailstorm and that sort of thing?
Yeah. I'm not too sure because I haven't gone through that. Like, no. I feel like everybody goes through different experience to get where they're at. You know, it's just like I feel like we went through something different and they went through something different. You know, they did certain things that boost their career, and there was some that we did that boost our career. You know, but like I feel like everything has a purpose. You know, and everything comes on its own timing. Like I'm chill about it. You know.
So how do you cope with trolls? Let's just call them what they are. Trolls, internet people.
Oh, yeah, trolls.
Because sometimes I find I try to respond in the nicest way. Whenever I get troll comments, I try to dig deep and try and understand why they feel that way. And I found out that doesn't work very well because it just antagonizes them even further. So some people just tell me to delete the comments, but I'd never delete a comment. But how, being such in a limelight, and especially being the front person of a band, how do you cope with trolls? Do you read them, delete them, ignore them?
Yeah, for me, I just don't read them at all, you know, like, or even if I do, like, I don't know, for me, I don't take offense, you know, because I just, like, I know who I am, I know what I do, and, like, I know that, like, what they say is not true, you know, and I'm like, you know, sometimes I even, like, some of their comments are laughable, you know, I'm just like, yeah, that is really funny that you see it that way, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I don't really get offended easily with like certain comments. I know for a lot of people it might be different, where, you know, they might take it too hard, or, you know, they might take it like more seriously or take themselves too seriously, where they actually like become affected by the comments. But I guess I just like never really like saw it that way. So yeah, I usually just ignore. Yeah. I have like, I just like, you know, like, I don't have time to waste my time with like.
You can spend a long time. For our channel, I'm the one that does all the administration, so I'm the one that does all the commentary responses. So I spend forever just adminning all the stuff, and I respond. So, and if we get a video that gets 1,000 comments, I'm like, oh, right, I'm responding to everyone. Thank you for that. No, I'm going to disagree with you on that one. It's a horrible job. But you have to do it sometimes. But yeah, sometimes I do take offense to it, but it's a difficult one. I'm always interested for someone else in the public eye of how you deal with that. I want to talk, obviously, if you search Liliac on Google, one of the first, or Liliac band, one of the first things, you know, Google does this thing where it suggests a question that you might want to ask. So it gives you like a pre-filled. So one of the first questions that comes up is Liliac a covers band? And that's one of the biggest uphill battles, I guess, Liliac must face, because there are so many people that still see Liliac as a covers band. And I didn't even realize that you had 3 full albums out, because you get so well known for the covers, and they've been such an integral part of building your following. However, Is it something that you're going to move away from now to focus more on your originals, or is covers always going to be something that the band's going to keep going back to?
I feel like it depends, but like for me, I wouldn't view me as a cover, like view us as a cover band, because we do have originals and stuff like that. And like you said, yeah, a lot of the covers help like build like recognition because people are like familiar with that song and they see a band, like a young band cover a song from their time and like, yo, this is so cool that like kid, you know, like there's these young people are doing our kind of music. And yeah, you know, so I would say, yeah, we definitely use covers as like, you know, like as help, I guess, you know, as like, you know, something that it can like pull people in, and then we share our original stuff. But definitely what we want to do live is we want to just mostly do original stuff, because we want, you know, like people to come to see us for original music, not necessarily like for a cover. But yeah, because like there's I would say like a cover band specifically only plays covers. It probably plays only one band covers, like kind of like a tribute band in a way, I guess. But yeah, no, we're not that. But like I think we might put some covers out here and there, but right now we're really focusing on originals.
Good. I mean, do you feel, has there been any points where you're doing, when you're out on tour and you put your set list together and you kind of have to put your set and you're thinking, oh, I want all these originals in there, and then you realize there's no way we can't put that cover in. Everyone knows for that cover it has to go in. Are there certain covers that you always have to play live?
Yeah, that's the problem, because it's like so hard, because like we would play a bunch of different covers and it was so hard to take out like some of them. But we're gonna stick to 2 covers that we're gonna keep in our shows, because we felt like from what we see in the crowd, like what like people, how they respond to that song the most, you know, is we're definitely keeping, actually 3, I think. We're keeping Holy Diver, you know, and we just started putting Heaven and Hell in the set, and people seem to really like that one. But then we also want to keep Seven Nation Army, but our rendition of it.
Yeah,
you know, because I get the crowd going with the like singing and the stuff, and they repeat and stuff like that, and they enjoy that song. Yeah, it's like a fun hype song. Yeah.
Looking at the band, you started also young. So I mean, if you think about when the band started, Justin would have been what, 8, I guess.
Yeah, I think
around 7, 8. So the look of the band has changed so much through the years. I mean, literally every time I'd see a picture, I was doing a review of the band and I was pulling pictures together of Liliac. And there's so many different looks and so many different styles of the band. And normally you sort of see a band and they will do, that's your core style. They might do a few things for a video, but you have a core look. Now, your look's changed so much over the last, 9, 10 years. And you could say some of that's obviously the fact that you're all going through education and you've all been going through that whilst also still doing the band. But where are the look changes? Where have they come from? Have they been things that your dad sort of pushed forward and said, try this? Or has it been just a case of trial and error of the band going, let's try looking like this and see how people take it? Where have these looks come from?
Well, for us, we always like to be very artistic, and we always want to try out new things. So, like the different looks, it's more like we like every year we like to put a theme behind like our tour. So, like the Madness tour, we kind of did like this like carousel look, because we also did have like the song called Carousel, and we're like, oh, we should do it like, you know, like I'm a magician, and then we have like, yeah, like we kind of look like magicians and stuff like that. But we like to go by themes, you know. It's just, for us, it's just very like creative and artistic, but we don't really stick to one thing. I mean, like we kind of do stick to one thing, like, you know, I guess the vampire concept was like the start of that, like just staying throughout. But I tried to like not like completely stay in that like Victorian kind of look. I like to make it more modernized by certain different outfits as well, you know, because I like more modernized outfits, like futuristic looks. I'm like, I think that's cooler looking. But yeah,
let's have a large costume budget for the band.
Yeah. Definitely at first, yeah. But nowadays, like I'm like managing. Like I want to get something probably from Shein, something cheap but looks cool. Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about the look of the videos, or just generally the performance elements of the videos. So one comment I've had, or that I've made on all the videos that I've seen, probably with the exception of Breathe actually, is a lot of the kind of performance movements are almost straight out of like 1980s classic 80s metal bands. Whether it's the guitar stances, the arm movements, the keyboard movements from Justin. Is this something that's actually planned, that you want to do these movements, or is this a case of being inspired by 80s metal and 80s rock videos?
Maybe I feel like it's more like inspired, but sometimes like I come up with my own moves on stage because like I did take ballroom dancing class and I love it. So I would do a lot of like
okay.
But yeah, for me, at least that I know of, I definitely took inspiration from watching the 80s, like like again, Ronnie James Dio. I would see the way he moves and just add it to my performance.
So I see it in Sam's guitar playing, I'm like, that looks like something that Paul Stanley would do, or it would be like a...
Yeah, there's a move that Sam does, and we call it perfromances, because he goes like on one side.
He does, like, that's that move. Like that's a very 80s move.
Yeah. Yeah, we call that the perfromances because he looks like a perfromances.
How has it been for all of you, going through high school whilst also being obviously covered in like media and YouTube and doing tours? What's that like, just going into school and doing it and doing your education?
Oh yeah, well, we were homeschooled on online specifically. Yeah, we did the homeschool online, and like with that, it's pretty easy because it's like you can go on your own schedule. Like I could say I could wake up like 3 a.m. and just decide to do school so that I can finish it by lunchtime,
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have to spend all day on school, and then I could just spend the rest of the day doing music and just chilling, relaxing, stuff like that. But like we all graduated early. We all graduated at 16. So then we could really focus on the career and like, yeah. that was our high school era, just like.
Okay, because I'm always intrigued, because a lot of people, when they talk about the high school elements, they talk about in high school you're thinking about college, then university, and then you're thinking about what career path you're going to. But in your teens you already had effectively a career that you were working on. But did you already have any of you already been in the back of your head going, well what if, what's my backup? Do any of you have a backup, or is it all in, that's it, the band is our career path?
Well, I think some of us were like, I wonder what college would be like, or like I wonder certain different things. But for me, at least I know of, like I'm like, I don't want to go to college. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to go. High school was good enough for me. I'm smart enough to like know how to be a normal human being. yeah for me. But yeah, for me it's like I intend to like do this career.
I'm wondering, you've obviously mentioned when we talked about the trolls that you don't really listen to or look at the troll comments, but when you get feedback from fans about what they like, or you get people that sort of say this doesn't really work, this song wasn't great, do you ever listen to that and go, do you know what, they're possibly right, we should have a look at that, maybe do some changes? Do you ever take that feedback on board from fans?
Maybe. I mean, I like again, I don't really go on social media a lot, so I don't really look at it. But I think my dad pays attention to that, and like sometimes he suggests it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, like we can like agree on certain things and change it around, but we always like to experiment and just try new things. So yeah, we don't try to make everything the same formula on every song that we do. We try to make it completely different. Maybe for shock value, maybe people will be like, whoa, this is different.
Yeah. I've got 2 final questions for you today. So I have to ask, what do you love about being in the band? But also, what do you hate about being in a band?
Oh, that's a hard question. It might take me a long time to answer. Well, what I love about being in a band is I just like to sing a lot. You know, I'm the singer. I like to sing. You know, that's one thing I like. I also want to try like different styles of singing so that I can actually add it into the metal music that we're doing. You know, there's like a lot of different types of artists and genres I'm listening to. I'm like, it'd be a good idea, but turn that metal, you know. But let's see one thing that I hate. Maybe sometimes we can get on each other's nerves. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I would definitely say that's probably one of them, getting on each other's nerves. And I'm just like, I can't.
There's no escape in that household.
Yeah, it's like, I wish I could just like go somewhere, but I can't because I have to finish.
Just lock yourself in the vocal booth. You'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Just like scream.
Do some power metal. Okay, so the final question then is: so, what's the plans for Liliac over the next sort of 12 months? Then, what's on the agenda?
Well, we definitely have a tour in February coming up. We're gonna be performing with Amber Wild. I think he's like the son of Paul Stanley from Kiss.
Okay.
So that's gonna be fun. I know currently we already have a couple of brand new original songs that we're holding on to that we want to publish out soon, and we're working on this very like long symphonic song, and it's very metal, so I'm excited for that one to come. I like it. It's really cool. Like maybe your guys will really like it too, because
fingers crossed. Yeah,
it's very like symphonic and like big and heavy. But just new songs, continue on tour. We're going to Europe. I believe we're playing at Wacken in Germany, so that's one of the big things. And yeah, it's just gotta see where we go on from there. I think it's just like a lot of good things. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, all the best for yourself and of course the rest of the band. Thank you for taking.
And you too as well.
It's been great to have you on for the last half hour or so. And just all the best for your tour next year, and looking forward to seeing some new music.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to watch your videos.
Thank you very much.